Took the jacks off the axle here, moved them back.
We'll jack out a little bit.
Because since we have the axles out and the brakes off and everything, we figured it's not going to take that much. Now for how far we're into it, we're just going to drop the axle all the way out. Just take the leaf springs out and the shocks. We're going to clean everything up back here, clean dirt out of all the leaf springs and shocks and everything, and make it a little bit easier working on the differential maybe. So now we're going to take the axle out. And this cover has all the gears in it here.
There it is.
So there's all the gears in the differential. Oil's pretty dirty.
Yeah, I'd say so.
You think it's light enough we can just carry it up front?
Like this. Moves it out.
Dad's over there cleaning up the axle, and I'm over here with the air compressor tool, cleaning up all the rust off the gas tank, because we can paint that later today, hopefully. And Dad's cleaning up the axle and the grinder, we can hopefully paint that later today. Well, now that everything is off of the frame, brake lines, fuel lines, gas tank, emergency brake, wires, all that, from the cab back is off, and we got the brackets on each side off for the springs. Springs are off, axle's off, support is off, leaving that support and the rear support in. And we took all the dirt off with the grinder with the wire wheel. Now we went through with a grinding wheel and took all the rust off, and then we went through with the flapper wheel and ground down the rust even more. And then now we're going to take this rust reformer and put that on. So what it's supposed to do is go into where all the rust spot is and neutralize it, so then it's going to stop that rust spot from rusting for a while. And then, got one coat of it on. You're supposed to do 2 coats. It's got like a white finish when you first put it on, and then it turns blue, and then it turns black. And you leave it sit for 20 minutes to the next coat. And you leave it sit for 20 minutes or something, and then it's good again. You go.
24 hours, that's
oh. 24 hours before you put the primer on it. Well, we got all the dirt and rust off the frame here, and we put that coat on there as you saw. Let that soak. And this orange here is primer that Dad's been working on putting on. We don't have enough, so we've kind of taken a break on working on that. We went over and picked up a sand blaster the other day. It's a cabinet blaster. Took an air compressor up to it, put parts inside of it, and blow sand at it to get all the rust off. Now we have the shop vac going over here, sucking all the dust out of it. So we've been kind of working on sandblasting some small parts the last couple of days, getting all them cleaned up and taking them over to the house and painting them and all that. Suspension stuff. Got brackets for the suspension that we did, and then there now we got the stops for the suspension. Just things that we're doing. Help work on the truck, clean stuff up, so then get a better paint job going on it. Well, today we're out here working on the truck again. So this week, Dad and I just did a little bit. We put the leaf springs on, which we put new bushings in each end here. We got the fuel tank back in. The frame is all undercoated. And today, Dad is working on putting the differential assembly back together. So he has all of the bearings and races and everything, and the housing here that they all go in, with all the gears and stuff under there. All that stuff he's gonna put in today. And hopefully here soon, the axle and all that will be back under the truck. So there's the ring gear and the pinion gear and the differential rubbing each other. And the axles from each side will go in this housing on each side. And then this housing here just bolts up to the middle of the axle there. We got that down tight where there is very, very little movement in between the housing and this yoke here. You want it to be just a little bit of movement. That way oil can get into the rollers and everything still. So there's just that slightest bit of movement there. Then we're going to paint it up because we scratched it all up. And then we got to put the bearings and everything in for right here. The ring gear. New bearings here. I'm tightening it all down with these clamps here. Okay, now we're putting in the axles. We already got the other axle in. Just have this one to do. After we put in the differential first. Put some oil in the bearing and seal before it goes in to help it slide in easier and lubricate it some more. Around in there for the gears inside where it goes in. Now we're getting the truck outside to get the flatbed on.
Charitable donation. At Magda's Tax Prep, every person counts.
And here comes the grill out.
She needs new auditors to maximize returns.
And we have the grill surround basically all loose and ready to come out here soon. No, it looks weird without that there. There we go. Now the front of the truck really looks empty. Well, had a neighbor come over and help us, and I forgot to record, of course, like normal, and took the hood off, and we took the front clip off the truck. So it looks very, very different now. Very open on the front end, that's for sure. So you can see the engine real good here now. And all that we did, just carried it out here and set them on the flatbed. So we have the hood leaned up against the headache rack there, and the front clip, fenders and all that, like I was saying earlier. We just brought it over here, flipped it upside down. So this right here is the front of the truck, really. And we just flipped it upside down, laid it on here, and there, these springs right here, with the hood goes on, so it's just flipped upside down here, front that way. And it is going to sit here for a while, just like the hood and all this other stuff, until it goes back together. Because this will be one of the last things probably that goes back on the truck. Well, flatbed's probably going to be the last thing. But so that really took away a lot of the truck today doing that. So now it's just the engine and cab, really. That's about all that's left to it now. So, and that's probably about where the truck's going to sit for a while. Because starting to get into spring work here now. Starting to have to get stuff ready for planting and all of that. So it's probably going to sit like this for a while. But maybe do a little bit here and there if we can't do anything in the fields. It's raining maybe. Because now we got to start disconnecting all the wires and everything off the engine. So everything is hooked up to the cab. So we can take the cab off here eventually. So, yeah, really turning into a big job with this truck that we were not expecting to. Because when we bought this truck, we weren't expecting to go this far in depth with it. But here we are, going this far in depth with it.